So we are on to the second show that I will be reviewing this weekend. There is a lot of stuff to talk about. Stay tuned for a progress review and my review of TNT Extreme Wrestling. But today, we're talking about Ignition. Hello and welcome to FTTR, I am Hugh McQuaid, and today we are talking about TNT Wrestling Ignition High Voltage. That's right, they did two shows in one day, and this is the afternoon show, which is a little less deathmatch focused, a little more family friendly, and I'm going to go into my thoughts on the show, the way a review works. But before we dive into that, please subscribe, please like this video, please comment your thoughts down below, and I'll try to apply to every single one of them as we dive into this. Starting with this being my first Ignition show. I have watched a TNT Wrestling show, but I've not checked out an Ignition show yet. They have people like MVK on the show, they have Holly Barlow, RPD, they have a lot of cool talent from across the UK and Liverpool here at the Fusion nightclub. So I was excited to check out this show. They had a big main event, MVK versus Rampage Brown. That sounds tasty. So yeah, I wanted to dive straight into this, and I had a really fun time with this show. It was to the point, it was succinct, it had good stories, and I was pretty hooked with this. I thought it was really enjoyable stuff, and I can't wait to check out more Ignition. But we're going to dive into my full play-by-play show review. Every match, every angle, everything that happened on the show, starting with Mike Angus announcing everyone, doing a really good job of ring announcing. And we had the first match, which was RPD versus Bullet. So I feel like I haven't seen Bullet in a really long time. I was a big fan of Bullet in Progress when he was doing the stuff with Spike Trevay. But here, he's just a unit. He is the walking armory. He is the absolute tank. And he's going against RPD, who RPD, you know, with the sort of boxing infused gimmick that he has and some of that boxing training, I really had flashbacks to, and this is going to be a bit of a niche reference that I don't know if anyone's going to get. Remember that movie Real Steel with Hugh Jackman and the fighting robots? Amazing film, like genuinely really good. You need to go and check it out. But there were parts of this match where it felt like, because I could use the Rocky analogy, the Ivan Drago Rocky 4 analogy, but no, I'm going to go niche. I'm going to go with Real Steel, the ending fight where I think the robot's called Atom is fighting the big robot and just dodging out of the way. There was a bit where RPD was thrown into the turnbuckles and dived out of the way of Bullet. I was like, that looks like Real Steel. That hit the spot right there, and I thought this match was really cool. It was like a lot of RPD getting beat up. He was immediately hit with a powerbomb from Bullet, like right out the gate, and Bullet was just destroying him for a large portion of this match. But RPD, you know, he has the fire, he has the tenacity to come back, and he's using his speed to get out of the way of Bullet. Seems like every time RPD sort of builds up some sort of flurry of offense, whether it be a combo, whether it be trying to roll up Bullet, he's always hitting that brick wall that is the walking armory, and every time he's just shut down again and again and again. But it is a really cool sort of one-shot punch, which I really liked. I really liked the end of this match. This one-shot punch that just floors Bullet, floors him, and RPD manages to get the win from that. I thought it was a really cool way to end the match, and it was very unexpected. It really shows that, you know, RPD, he's got the power. He can put someone away if he wants to, and yeah, he comes across as such a cool underdog. I really liked that. And then Bullet gets on the mic afterwards and challenges RPD to a match that we've not seen in a while, a Brawl for All. Now, Brawl for All, if anyone is unfamiliar, I'm barely familiar with it myself because I wasn't around or watching wrestling at this time. It's the one that WWE did where they did like real boxing, shoot boxing, and it's terrible. I think there's a Dark Side of the Ring documentary on it. I think was Butterbean in it? Someone was it? I think Butterbean was in it, and he got beat by someone who was like not an actual boxer. I don't know. I'm a fake fan, obviously, but I'm intrigued to see how they're going to do a Brawl for All. I think that's going to be really fun, really cool, and yeah, I love this match. I thought it was really fun, hot way to open the show, and a very unexpected sort of quick flash ending. Yeah, I was a big fan of this. Next up, we had a match that Lily Winter was announced for, but she was unable to compete, so I hope she gets well soon. And it was Holly Barlow versus Leah Raven. Holly Barlow being Lana Austin's best friend, not number one fan. I'll correct myself from the last video. So, by Holly's own admission, number one friend, not number one fan. I thought this was really good. This was really cool. I really like Holly Barlow. I really like Leah Raven, and they went in there. They had a really cool match. They had a lot of technical stuff. They were, rolling up each other, hitting crucifixes right at the beginning, and just rolling up and then do the stare down. It was really awesome to see. You then got a double down in the middle of the match, and Holly Barlow they both get up. Holly Barlow runs in, hits a flatliner on Leah Raven, and then you sort of built towards the end where it looks like Leah Raven's going to hit sort of the springboard flatliner, almost like an Oblivion, a Liv Morgan's finisher. That's the best I can think because I didn't hear the actual name on commentary, but it looks like she's going to hit sort of an Oblivion. Holly Barlow counters it, and she hits a springboard stunner, which looked really cool. It was like a step up one leg stunner on Leah Raven, and picks up the win. Yeah, this was fun. This was a fun match, and there was a sign of respect at the end. Hope to see more of Leah Raven, hope to see more of Holly Barlow. This is really cool, did exactly what it needed to, and yeah, they put over well on commentary that there's sort of a gap now that Lana Austin has the Ignition Championship and the TNT Championship. There's sort of a gap for the women's roster to sort of break through and push up on Ignition. So I thought that was cool as sort of a showcase match. Yeah, I really, really like this. Then we had Tom McCall come down for a promo. He cut a promo about his match with Joseph Connors, where he put up a good fight, but he lost and he's feeling disheartened and disappointed by that. And then he challenges Joseph Connors to a match at Aftershock, I think it's called. Yeah, Ignition Aftershock in September. So that'll be fun. I'm a big fan of Joseph Connors. I want to see where that goes. And then we had an Extreme Rules match as Tom Thelwell took on Scott Oberman. So if you've been watching some of my British wrestling reviews, you'll know I'm a big fan of Scott Oberman. I think he's super underrated, and this was the longest match of the show. This went around like 20 minutes, like compared to a lot of the other matches here, and they put on, considering this is a family friendly show compared to the other shows, they did a really good job with an Extreme Rules stipulation here. There was a bit of blood, there was baking tray shots to the head. It was really well done and really well structured, and I think that they worked the stipulation well for the parameters that they are in, and I really appreciate the creativity there, because you've got some really cool stuff in there, like the baking tray shots to the head. They looked brutal, and they sounded brutal as well when Scott Oberman was just laying them into the back of Tom Thelwell's head. You had this really cool spot where Scott Oberman does a double foot stomp to the back of Tom Thelwell, falls on the ropes, and he's taunting the crowd. Then Thelwell just gets up, clocks Oberman on the back of the head with a baking tray, which again echoed throughout the nightclub. And then Scott Oberman hits a big dive to a bunch of security as well. Then they started using these bats, which I have no idea what they were made of. They were called, what? One man. This is good. Banger bats. So I have no idea what they were. They were like bats that had things on. I'm probably being really dumb because I don't know what was on them, but they would hit them and stuff would fly everywhere. It was almost like they had really small pieces of Lego on it, but I'm really, really dumb and I don't know what they're made of, but they were really cool because it gave the thingy an explosion. It looked really cool when they were hitting each other with those. You then had some really cool bits like a superplex through a makeshift table. You had Oberman getting hit with a lariat with a chain, then getting locked in a submission with a chain around his face, then a powerbomb through two chairs, two set-up chairs, which looked great on Thelwell. And Thelwell kicks out at one. I'm a big sucker for a kick out of one spot, so mega props for that, because that got me. And yeah, it just kept going, and it looks like Oberman's just getting more and more frustrated. He starts throwing down weapons, makes this big pile, and then Tom Thelwell rolls him up for the 1, 2, 3. And Oberman's pretty pissed. He's pretty pissed about this. He gets on the mic, cuts a promo, because they've had 5 matches so far, and this makes him 5-0. He's not been able to beat Tom Thelwell, so he lays out the challenge for a last man standing match to hopefully settle this feud, because this feud is just escalating, and Tom Thelwell accepts. I think that's going to be really good. I can't wait to see that. I think it's going to be really good if they can build on this story and build on this match here, which was no DQ. I think there's a lot of stuff here, a lot of stuff to do there. I was a big fan of this. This was probably my match of the night. It's between this and the submission match. Those are probably my two favourite matches of the night, but this is probably my match of the night. I thought this was really, really fun. Then we had the holder of the Level Up briefcase coming out, Critchy, and he cuts a short promo before his match with Soner Durson. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Soner Durson. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, and I apologise if I'm pronouncing it wrong. But they had a really fun match. I really like the story of this match. That was Durson just targeting the knee and the leg of Critchy. He was hitting like knee drops. He was hitting the knee drop on the apron and just targeting the leg of Critchy throughout this match. He hit this really cool. He picked him up for like a back suplex, threw him to the outside like on his feet as well to hit the leg. That was really cool. There was also this cool bit where Critchy was on the top rope and Durson hit a drop kick, sending him into a tree of woe position on the outside and wrenching back on the leg. I really like the camera work there because they really focused in on the leg, and that was, I appreciate that. Then Durson hits a running drop kick on him while he's in the tree of woe position. This was like, Durson was doing a lot of offense in this match, and I thought that was, considering he was put over as the longest reigning Ignition champion, they were doing a really good job of making him seem like a threat. And ultimately though, Critchy manages to make a comeback and he manages to pick up the win over Durson. This was great. This was good. This did exactly what it needed to do. Fun match, good story, zero complaints. Then we got probably my second favourite match of the night, which was the submission match between Liam Carr and Lewis Johnson. So I want to put over the name. The Limb Reaper from Lewis Johnson might be the best wrestling name I think I've ever heard in my life. And when I saw the Limb Reaper Tron, I was like, that's genius. That is absolute genius. Like, what a play on words. The Limb Reaper. Let's go. And yeah, this was really, really fun. I can't remember the last submission match that I saw because it's not a stipulation that gets done much, because I think like it can, if not done well, it can get boring. But I thought these two did really, really well, and they told a pretty simple story here, which was, again, sort of targeting the leg of Liam Carr, which in a submission match makes sense. You're going to target a limb, and using the Limb Reaper, I'm going to say that as many times as I want because it's cool as fuck. Family show. Sorry, I swore. Lewis Johnson just targeting the leg of Liam Carr was just, it was simple. It did exactly what it needed to do in terms of story, and him selling the leg, Liam Carr selling the leg, was also really good. Then you also had the threat of Liam Carr's choke. They put over well on commentary that he'd been training over in Canada to really sort of get this rear naked choke over, and he was trying to lock it in. He locked it in multiple times on Lewis Johnson. Lewis Johnson manages to get to the ropes, and then it's sometimes the leg that comes back and bites Liam Carr in the bottom because he goes for like a clothesline, buckles his leg, manages to get it with not enough power. So I thought they really told a good story with the leg and the choke in this match, and those two not necessarily moves with the leg, but the choke and sort of the knee bar that Lewis Johnson was using. You had a really good submission spot in there where Lewis Johnson locks in like an STF, then transitions it into a Rings of Saturn. Liam Carr manages to get his foot on the ropes, and then Carr gets an ankle lock on him. He's got an ankle lock from Lewis Johnson, and he does a really good job of selling that he might tap out. I thought he was going to, he didn't. He manages to pull forward and reach the ropes. Then you got another STF locked in from Lewis Johnson. He's got an STF locked in. It's almost like an inverted. He's using the arm of the opponent under the chin. As he does that, Carl manages to sort of rake the eyes, pull on the face to escape, and he manages to lock in the rear naked choke, which has been put over on commentary for ages. He manages to lock in the choke and passes out. Lewis Johnson passes out rather than tapping out. I thought this was really, really good stuff. Like a really fun submission match. I think they're hard to do. Like Bryan Danielson could obviously have an amazing submission match, but I think that like just we've been burnt by submission matches in WWE. They haven't been that good. So I think that's why promotions have stopped doing them. But here, props to Liam Carr and props to Lewis Johnson, because I thought they put on a terrific submission match and they made the stipulation interesting and fun and told a great story within it with the right winner. Then you had a sign of respect at the end. It looks like they're going to potentially shake hands. Lewis Johnson kicks Liam Carr right in the dick and then makes his way to the back. So presumably we're going to get some sort of rubber match, maybe a 2 out of 3 falls submission match. That could be fun. Or what's the one, Ultimate Submission from SmackDown vs. Raw 2008. Maybe they could do an Ultimate Submission, which is an Iron Man match but with submissions. That could be fun. Yeah, I'm excited to see where this feud goes because it's not seemingly over. I had so much fun with this match. Then for the TNT Ignition Championship, we had MVK versus Rampage Brown. The beefy match. The big beefy boys facing each other. Now, MVK, I think, he's got everything. He's got absolutely everything. I remember seeing him at the first Burning Heart show in Liverpool where he won the 6-man scramble. He's got everything. He's got the look. He's got the in-ring ability. He's got the promo ability. He's got absolutely everything because the promo that he cut as well was really good before the match, sorry. And him going in there against Rampage Brown, who I think is severely underrated. He's doing great work in North Wrestling as a tag champ. They went in there and they had a big hoss fight. And this was a hoss fight from the beginning. They were trading blows. Immediately, MVK gets Irish whipped and hit with a power slam in like the first 30 seconds or something like that. And it was just big hoss action. They're brawling on the outside. Rampage is hitting chops on MVK on the outside as he's seated. Just huge brawls. And then they traded back suplexes on the apron as well. They were just powering each other up, and just, it was like a kaiju fight. I think that's what I love about Rampage Brown matches. They feel like kaiju fights. The way he sort of walks around the ring and the way he sells the impact of some of the moves, it's like Godzilla and King Kong are in a wrestling ring, and you can just see everything shaking. The uranagi that he did on MVK was what sold me on that. I was like, okay, this feels like two monsters fighting, and I really, really like the feel of that. Both men start brawling on the apron, and then Rampage Brown manages to hit a pile driver on MVK on the apron, and he struggles to get him into the ring before the referee counts them out. He manages to roll him back in the ring, doesn't get the win though. Instead, earlier in the match, MVK has exposed one of the turnbuckles. He's pulled it off and manages to hit Rampage Brown. Rampage Brown clocks his head on the turnbuckle, and then he hits the MVK driver, a big Death Valley driver on Rampage Brown for the 1-2-3, picking up the win and retaining his title. I thought it was fine. I thought it was a great finish, like a really good finish, and I'm not sad that we got a screwy finish, because we're getting another match, baby. We're getting a knockout or tap out. Is that what he says? Tap out or knockout match, Rampage Brown says. He sets that for us. I think that's going to be class. I think that's going to be really cool, because Rampage Brown was fed up with some of the shenanigans. He was fed up with exposing the turnbuckle, using the turnbuckle, cheating to win. So instead, he challenges MVK to that match, where we'll get no disqualifications, we'll get no shenanigans. I thought it was great. I thought it was a great kaiju hoss fight to end the show. And that wrapped up what I thought was a really fun show. You know, this is my first Ignition show. I really like a lot of the wrestlers on here. I really like a lot of the matches. I really like just the vibe of the TNT shows. Yeah, I don't have much to complain about here. I thought it was just fun. It was just really, really fun, and I'm excited to check out the TNT show later, whenever you're seeing this. I will be watching it at some point, because I've seen one of the spoilers, Emerson Jane versus that guy. I can't wait to see that. So yeah, overall, TNT Ignition, I'd give it like 4 out of 5. I really had a fun time with the show. I think it's one you should probably go out of your way to see. If you're looking to dive into some more British wrestling, but you're not too keen on the deathmatch stuff, this might be for you. This might be the one that makes you a fan. So yeah, I'd highly recommend checking this out. Let me know your thoughts if you were there, if you've watched the show. Let me know, and I'll try to reply to every single one of them. Thank you all ever so much for your support, and have a nice day.